Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mind Your Mental. Just a reminder that this podcast is not meant to be a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health professional. I know they are hard to find, and I get that. I have a bunch of resources on my website if you need them, but I am not your clinician. I am a psychologist, but I am not your psychologist. So if you need any specific help, please look for the help of a licensed mental health professional. Learn all you can learn from the podcast. Enjoy the episode. I have one more question. I'm going to end on this one. So I've worked with people on different teams, especially in the college dynamic. I'm not going to say what university it was. Mm-hmm. However, have you ever noticed any way that coaches possibly pit players against each other, which contribute to negative dynamics within the team?
Oh,
and if so, yes. What would your advice be to those coaches when it comes to thinking that like pitting them against each other will help them to bring the dog out, as it were?
Bring the dog out. Coaches do it.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it, but I hear my athletes coming to tell me. So I can't say that it's happening or not. It's hearsay, right? I don't know. They could be lying.
I'm saying I know it's happening. I'm saying, what would you say to those coaches?
It happens. Let's just be real. It happens.
Yeah.
You know, I would tell the coaches, like, I would, what's up, coach? Like, you need to come and talk to somebody because you're doing this for a reason. Like, what is the motivation behind, again, pitting two young people against each other for any reason, right? Let's figure out what's going on with you as a coach to where you feel like that's a good strategy to help your team perform better. And the thing is, we're talking about athletes and working with athletes and helping them. The piece that's missing is the coaches need it too.
Yeah.
The coaches need it just as much because they're under an immense amount of pressure. This is their actual job on the line.
This is their job. Like if something happens they'll be out. The students will probably still have a scholarship. It may not be as bad, but they're also young. These coaches are grown men and women.
You got a wife, or a husband. And once you're fired, that's it. You're gone. And then usually when a coach gets fired, all those players who had scholarships, all that stuff is up in the air now because that coach brought you onto the team. It's like when Coach Prime went to Colorado and he told those kids, go ahead and pack your bags. I got Louis. I'm bringing my Louis, or whatever. Go ahead and get in the portal. He pretty much gutted the team. And these players had scholarships and were promised certain things. But when the coach leaves, they all got to go. And so I would say, look, coaches, don't pit your players against each other because they come and tell people like me and Dr. Martin that this is happening. And it really makes us wonder, like, what's going on with you as a coach? And we need to come talk to you and give you some sessions.
Yeah, because I think the thought process is that it'll drive them both to be better, like the players. But what I have noticed is that at the end of the day, y'all all are a team. Yeah. And I've seen it mess up like the dynamics between, at the end of the day, we might be in the same position, but
you got to know your players. I would
it's
say
a team sport.
You got to know your players and know what motivates your players and not thinking that being yelling or, being this abrasive guy works for everybody. You have to know your players and know how to get the best out of them. And working with people like me, we can help you discover that.
Yeah. So I would say working with an organization like yours helps to discover that because that's what it is at the end of the day. The same way I work in the corporate space about, every single individual that if you're a supervisor and stuff like that, you need to know what works for them. Coaches, it's the same way. Yeah, some people will do better with just being like, all right, I need you to be, do better with the harsh stuff. But I just think like you can't treat everybody the same. And I can see it being a shortcut because it's like, this worked with 27 players who said it won't work with the next 27. The player who broke down, that's who.
Yeah.
That's who.
That's who said it, right? Exactly.
It's not going to work. So I would say be more unique. But yeah, I've seen that a couple teams. It's like, yeah, we're supposed to be competing against each other. And I'm like, man, that's weird you're supposed to be like with somebody all the time. And then you got another adult who's like the real adult in the room saying like, that's your teammate, but that's your competition.
Well, let me say this. To some degree, yes, you have to compete with your teammates.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like a malicious type of deal. Like
a malicious, that's exactly what I was saying.
Like it doesn't have your teammates help you get better, right?
Yeah.
The harder you compete against each other in practice, it shows up during the game. But it's not like, man, I'm trying to knock you out and I don't even want you on a team. Like, no. But you need to have that healthy competition is what I'm saying here.
Yeah. So I would say the balance between healthy competition, right?
Yeah.
I think with the people who brought it to me, it wasn't healthy. Yeah. And I have seen for the most part that there always seems to be some aspect of hazing on teams with the
Well,
what are
you know,
newbies or
hey,
whatever coming in, and I'd be like, man, I know you're happy to be a freshman, but
it's
buddy,
that's one of those parts of the of sports culture
yeah,
that needs to change.
you can get them the best out of them for 4 years, but then you do so much with them in the first year, and it's not even just you; it's the other players because it's like they had to go through it too. That you lost yourself a good player, they would have gave you 4 good years.
And look, it goes into the pros. It doesn't stop in college sports. They
Yeah,
hazing in the pros.
yeah. And they don't get banned. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if you're a part of an organization, but if we start hazing, banned off campus sports, well, it makes them better players. I'm like, that's
Criminal
interesting.
charges, like you get charged.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
charges. They're a whole organization.
Yeah.
I was at FIST for the longest, and we had like little to no Greek organizations because it was just like, yeah, they know what they did.
Yeah.
They know what they did. They're not coming back for years. You better hope you see them
Yeah.
in the 4 years that you're there.
That's a whole
Well,
nother-
Eric Capehart, thank you so much for coming to the show. Tell the people where they can find you, and also talk about your conference because I'll also be speaking at that conference. I'm incredibly excited about
So
that.
I'm on LinkedIn, Eric Capehart, or Instagram, Eric Capehart. You can go to relatetoathletes.com to learn more about how we work with athletes. The Relate to Athletes Summit is Friday, April the 19th here in Nashville, Tennessee. We've partnered up with ABC Sports and Burrell Collective, which is a collective. They're not a collective, like in the sense of a sports collective, which is another thing. But we partnered up to present the NIL Education and Mental Health Summit, which Dr. Martin's going to be there, and she's going to. I'm expecting you to be like the one to bring it down. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so.
No pressure, okay?
You know, athletes is like a big. I'm trying to get more into lifting weights, and I'm like, man, when I start like really getting into it, my walk on stage is just going to be doing like a bunch of like. Because to get their respect, you also got to be in shape. So I'm be like, I'm gonna just have a pull-up bar up there and be like, all right,
pull-up bar. It's gonna be interesting.
Pull-up bar.
So the setup is going to be real athletic, and so I think it might be a different vibe for you. But hey, I expect you to step up to the challenge.
Like a super intense realm. I'm in a house full of men.
No, I don't think it'll be intense. I just think I'm speaking more so towards the setup, like that we're going with at the venue. It's not what you would traditionally think. You're on a stage and talking to people. You're gonna be right there with the athletes on a field. So that's what we're looking for. It's a whole day to where we are going to be educating the student athletes, coaches, and other sports enthusiasts about NIL. And the thing about NIL is it's some colleges like it, the idea of it. Some don't, because NIL puts the ball in the students' hands, because they can leave your school at any time because another school offers them a better opportunity to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. And so some schools don't like it. Some schools like it, but we're going to break it down. We got some experts coming from different parts of the country to talk about NIL. And then we're going to give the athletes and everybody in attendance some things that they can do mental health wise, because we want to make sure that we're balancing sports with mental wellness. And so we're going to have a fun day at Lipscomb Academy here in Nashville. You can go to r2asummit.com to find out more. And we really hope to see you there. Our sponsoring partner is U.S. Bank. So they pretty much paid for the registration for all people. So if you're in Nashville or wherever you are, you want to be in Nashville on April the 19th, you can attend this summit at no charge to you. We just ask that you come ready to learn and to move around a little bit and have some fun with us.
Bring your energy. Yeah. So that'll be linked in the show notes. I'm also going to be telling my students about it because there's no class on Fridays.
Yep.
So
I love that at TSU, actually.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, knowing my students, because when I taught intro to psych, it was a lot more athletes in that class. Knowing them, they would just miss it anyway. Because I have fun.
TSU last year when we hosted it, they were there. It was on a Friday last year. And we had a group of TSU students. We actually partnered with TSU Athletics. They have a program called the Becoming Program.
I spoke for them.
That's what I was thinking
the summer. Yeah.
Earlier. So they're going to be bringing a cohort of athletes, and so we expect TSU to have a good group there. Good.
Yeah. I have one specific athlete who tells me he's been in my class a bunch of times playing football. And I'm like, if you come late to my class one day, I'm gonna find a way to track Eddie George. I stop coming to my class late.
Hey,
I'm gonna find a way.
They used to come to class. I used to teach at TSU. They had a little form that they brought for the professors to sign. Do they not do that anymore?
Not for me.
Really? There wasn't no missing class, no being late, none of that. Like they were not having that.
Yeah, nah. I can always tell the athletes because they little celebrities. They be coming. I'm like.
Right.
I mean, everybody else know you. I don't. All I do know is like I done call roll now.
Yeah. And you
Stop
want here.
playing with me. Yeah, and they be like, oh yeah, Dr. Martin's a little different.
Like, you got to be hard on them. Like, don't. I don't have to tell you this, but like, when I don't cut no slack. You're an athlete. You need to be here every day, first in class. That's the expectation.
Especially since I'm like one of the most chill professors on campus.
I would love to be in the class with you. Like, I see some of the clips you put online. I'm like, I think I enjoy being in the class.
If you make me, I'm like, my threshold is high, yo.
Yeah.
I'm pretty reasonable, but like my rule is like, I'm reasonable, y'all, but don't play me. Dr. Martin don't like getting played. Yeah. Don't like it. It'll go from Dr. Martin to like, I don't know what happened. My professor seemed to have left the building.
Don't let him play.
Yeah, I'm going to tell them about it. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be great. And I'm trying to do more. I just get more and more interested in the athlete realm. More so, honestly, when the name, image, likeness thing happened, I'm like, man, mental health wise, I am concerned. Because one, there's going to be, if they leave the team, the aspect of like lack of stability with going from, that's a mental health thing.
No, that's a big
the pressures of caring for their families. Like, right. Like you got to do this because now you have more of an opportunity to make money. We ain't even got to make it to the pros you could do here. So like, you got to do better. All I thought of when I saw that was mental health. I know other people saw cha-ching. All I saw was like, man.
Can I give you a quick scenario how NIL affects the family? So imagine a student gets $100,000, but he comes from a family that's living in public housing. That $100,000 goes against that mother's income. So now mom has to move out of that public housing.
Yeah.
Mom, everybody in the house, and this is a true story. Like a kid got an NIL deal. And the income, he was still living at home with his mom. That's his residence. And you live in public housing, that's a part of the income. And so now they all got to move out. The $100,000 is how long you think that's going to last?
Right. And then and how long do those deals renew? Like those, does that like just, is that like a?
It depends. You know, it's whatever. It's a contract between X company and that kid. It could just be a one-time deal. They don't even have to play sports. It can't be because you're a good athlete. It's just your name, your image, and likeness. Like there's a kid, I don't want to say at what school. It's a big school here in Nashville. He's on a football team, Division I, doesn't play, but he's making $80,000 a month because he's a good-looking kid. Yeah,
and we kind of we talked about that with like the whole aspect of when we were talking about Angel Reese and Caitlin.
$80,000 a month. $80,000 a month.
And it takes away from being kids though too, right? Because it's like it's a game and it's supposed to be fun. I'm assuming that they're, and I mean, you're not even. Oh, and he's not even playing.
He's just literally a good-looking kid.
But the likeness thing also, when we were talking about the pay disparity between those two athletes, those young women, it's also like, oh, one athlete is making more because of their likeness. But when we're thinking about it, it's not likeness. That's another racism thing.
I mean,
like,
absolutely.
Oh, well, this person's likeness is more likely to go far, and it's not because of stats. And I guess this is where I've always had issues with sports. Is like, yeah, it's incredibly difficult, and you have to play at an upper echelon. But like when the racism comes out, it really comes out. Yeah. Like learning about the number, how many Black coaches are there in the football realm, right? But if we look at, and also like the disparity between who are the players that take the most hits, who are the players that are less likely to get hit, and what's the demographic disparity with that? Or, you know, like so, it's hard for me to. I'm getting better. But it's hard for me to look at sports and not be like, that's interesting. Did you know that for the longest that sports players, once they retired and they retired due to disability from getting hit in the head so much, the Black ones were less likely to get their money because of the way they tested them? Eagles, go Birds. Yeah. You know, like it's hard for me to see. I'd be like, I know, but like, even that player who like, I know he doesn't listen to a podcast, but like even that player, every time I see him, I'm like, listen, I know you keep telling me you're going pro. Have you been going to class though? You know, like I need you to have a degree when you leave. Yeah. I need you to have a degree when you leave. Yeah. Because we don't know that you're going pro, but I do know you keep dipping out on class. I know that.
Yeah. I've taught numerous athletes and they knew, Capehart, you got to go to class because I'm an athlete. Like I'm not going to give you any leeway. You got to be in class, period. And you got to do the work. I'm not giving you like no slack. And they step up to the plate. I loved it. I love teaching athletes. I really did because I was able to see them step up to the plate and do what they needed to do in the class the same way they do it in their game.
On the field, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I would get more buy-in if I also went to the games because he would always ask if I went to the games. And I'm like, I have kids. I think I'm going to just have to I'm going to get on the step stool because they all bigger than me. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, these boys are big.
I'm going to get on the step stool and be like, I done told you.
Yeah.
multiple, because it's never eye to eye. I'm sitting here like, hey, I'm not playing with you.
Do it, Doc. I'm telling you, they need it. They need it. I mean, they need it. The coaches sit there and tell them, "You bring your kid to our school. We're going to take care of them. We got great." They talk about the professors.
Yeah.
And so, hey.
As someone who, like I would say almost every other athlete is taking psych classes.
Yeah.
All right, I guess. But I teach a lot of them, and I think there could be a better connection. But TSU got a lot going on right now anyway. They fighting to keep the school.
That's a whole nother.
But thank you so much for coming.
No,
we very much appreciate it. All of Eric Capehart's information, as well as the information for his organization Relate to Athletes, will be in the show notes. And as always, y'all have a fantastic day, night, evening, and remember to be kind to yourselves. Hey, everyone, just a reminder that Mind Your Mental is not just a podcast. It is also a amazing community, if I do say so myself. It's phenomenal. I mean, you get more access to me. What more could you want in this life? So if you want to join the community, if you're not already on the community, go to my social media. My social media is the same, Raquel Martin, PhD, and DM me the word community so you can get details on joining this amazing flipping community. You get more access to me, y'all. Like, I'm a delight. All right. Hope to see you there.